All right, there you are. Welcome to your unique devotion. A little side note: someone mentioned that they thought I looked better without the hat, but this hat isn't just like a prop or something fun that I made. This is actually a gift from some really good friends of mine last year for Christmas, and they actually had the unique devotion printed out, and they picked a hat out and gave it to me as a gift. So that's mostly why I wear it. If you look at a lot of my older videos, I only wear a hat if I need to stay warm. So just a little side note. So today we're in First Thessalonians chapter 2, verses 1 through 12. It's a little long. It's about half of what I read yesterday for the entire chapter. So I'm just going to hop in and get started. This is entitled Paul's Conduct. For you yourselves know, brethren, that our coming to you was not in vain, but even after we had suffered before and were spitefully treated at Philippi, as you know, we were bold in our God to speak to you the gospel of God in much conflict. For our exhortation did not come from error or uncleanness, nor was it in deceit. But as we have been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel, even so we speak, not as pleasing men, but God who tests our hearts. For neither at any time did we use flattering words, as you know, nor a cloak for covetousness. God is witness. Nor did we seek glory from men, either from you or from others, when we might have made demands as apostles of Christ. But we were gentle among you, just as a nursing mother cherishes her own child. So, affectionately longing for you, we were well pleased to impart to you not only the gospel of God, but also our own lives, because you had become dear to us. For you remember, brethren, our labor and toil, for laboring night and day, that we might not be a burden to any of you, we preached to you the gospel of God. You are witnesses, and God also, how devoutly and justly and blamelessly we behaved ourselves among you who believe, as you know how we exhorted and comforted and charged every one of you, as a father does his own children, that you would walk worthy of God who calls you into his own kingdom. So, the question that stood out to me was he mentioned, but as we have been approved by God to be entrusted with the gospel. They were entrusted with the gospel. They were entrusted with the first fruits. Jesus gathered his disciples and sent them out with the gospel of Jesus Christ, with a sort of understanding of a behind the scenes truth of what's really going on and not what the world sees. To put it in some interesting words for you, it's kind of how I view it a little bit. So, what has God entrusted me with? What has God entrusted you with? I think that's one of those questions that we all try to strive for. What is my purpose? What am I meant to do with my life? Wanting to be in that place where you feel like this is where I'm meant to be. If you're stuck in that 9-to-5 job that you just got into right out of school, and you make good money, but you don't really want to be there. You feel like you should be doing something else, and every day just frustrates you. Well, first of all, it's a lesson that needs to be learned. So working through that frustration and being comfortable where God has placed you, otherwise you wouldn't be there, is a long story. But looking forward into the future, not just learning to deal with where you're at now, but what has God entrusted you with as far as a gift, like I'm talking about now? What about your family? What sort of family has he entrusted you with? Good or bad, he's still entrusted you with them. What sort of friends? Good or bad, He's still entrusted you to be in their lives. What about your church family, if you have a church family? What about your neighbors? Um, what sort of house has he given you? Has he entrusted you with, if any? What sort of car? What sort of the things that surround you? Let's go inward. What sort of heart has he entrusted you with? What sort of mind has he entrusted you with? What sort of body has he entrusted you with? There's a whole lot of stuff that you can think about, which I think is why that question that sort of stands out to me, because that's something I think about this stuff all the time, guys. I mean, my brain is constantly on full throttle, and it does help to start to work through those things through life, not necessarily all in 5 minutes, but to pick something and work through it and really understand how God has entrusted you with it. Really see it and experience that He has entrusted you with whatever you're thinking of, whatever you're looking at in your life. Like I said, as your family, your friends, your job, the things that surround you. He, in a connective way, has entrusted you with it, or you would not have it. So just go a little deep with that. Like I said, you don't need to think about all the stuff that I just pointed out, but maybe the first one that really stood out to you. Think about that one today and really see in a more dynamic way and how many ways does that connect to your life, and see how that is entrusted, how God has entrusted you with that. And I'm going to do the same, and it always impacts my life in a positive way. So, on that note, I hope God gives you all the blessings you deserve, and even more so, all the blessings you don't deserve. Have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow. We will continue the second chapter of 1 Thessalonians.